Good evening. I am Kamini Sani, the director of the Museum of Art and Photography, or MAP, and I am delighted to welcome you to the opening of our digital museum, where I am now, and where you are able to join me through the magic of technology. Given the strange times we now live in, we can't all be here together in person. Yet one road blocked can only reveal another road open. With the physical museum yet to complete and the world moving online at breakneck speed, we at MAP decided to create a sensorial experience of a different kind. Today you will hear some of the finest voices in our country, see a first glimpse of the museum that is to come very soon, and witness how art can take any shape and form, how art is indeed life itself. It is quite special in Bangalore to be able to walk only a few steps and find yourself in a moment of calm. In many ways, just the way one feels in a museum, where art from all corners and of all kinds have the power to invoke both a sense of calm and restlessness within you at the same time. Now that we have you good and ready, I welcome you to MAP, a space for ideas and conversations that explore art and life itself. And as the fire is lit, we now officially embark on a new journey with the curiosity of a flame, its guiding light, and its relentless warmth. I will now leave you to the voices and thoughts of a few incredible minds who will take you through the rest of this evening.
Art is so very integral to human society and culture, an emotional experience that helps uplift our spirits. It has been inspiring to see art institutions across the world challenging the current circumstances so creatively, finding new ways to survive, respond, and redesign purpose. While MAP started as a dream of one person, it soon became a large collaborative movement with global experts and supporters who have helped raise our own ambitions and redefine the boundaries of the museum beyond the four walls of a physical one. In spite of all the limitations, this period has been very defining for MAP. We have been overwhelmed with the support and help we have received. We are truly grateful. While many museums across the world are adapting their physical spaces to the new reality, we have decided to view the current moment as an opportunity to do things differently. The last many months of disruptions gave us an opportunity to rethink, redesign, and reshape our vision. While the physical museum is progressing parallelly, the digital museum is a unique moment for technology to take on a key role in making culture accessible. The online museum will reach out to new audiences beyond Bengaluru and engage its viewers in digital speak. I am delighted that the tech capital of India, Bengaluru, provides the perfect platform for MAP to take the lead.
Long ago, in this ancient land, this subcontinent of India that we occupy, thrived a highly developed civilization, one that was samruddha, prosperous in all aspects. The great minds of this time who composed the Puranas, perhaps between CE 300 and 1000, were like their contemporaries in the Mayan culture or other developed civilizations of the time, engaged in unraveling the mysteries of time, Kala in Sanskrit, of unraveling man's relation to time and the earth and the universe, to creation and destruction, to existence and non-existence. Time is what is left when all else has gone. How can anyone capture the majesty and quintessence of ever-moving time? One of the most fascinating measures of time belong to the Puranic period. In the Puranic period, time was calculated in the following manner. Time taken to pierce a leaf, just a tuck, was alpakala, the smallest measure of time. How many alpakalas to a deep breath? Inhaling. And how many for an exhale? And how many for the two together? A deep sigh, further linking the breath to the piercing of the leaf and the sun, calculating how many breaths from sunrise to noon, from noon to sunset, from sunset to dawn. The day having been accounted for, the count goes further to connect to the moon and calculate fortnights and months and the year for a man, and go all the way to 300 man years, making one divine year. 4,800 divine years, Divya Varshas, make one Krita Yuga. 3,600 divine years make one Treta Yuga. 2,400 divine years make one Dwapara Yuga. And 1,200 divine years make one Kali Yuga. Kali Yuga is what we all are living in right now. And you can see that the numbers are in a descending order. More divine years make the Krita Yuga and lesser make the Kali Yuga. 12,000 Divya Varshas, divine years, make one Chatur Yuga. 71 Chatur Yugas make one Manavantara. And 14 Manavantaras are equal to one Pralaya, a Kalpa. Pralaya is equated to the day of destruction. One Pralaya is equal to one day of Brahma. Of Brahma opening and shutting his eyes just once. All that is known and unknown held in the blink of the eyes of creation.
वक्त, समय, काल. When you think of time, all kinds of thoughts start floating through your mind. But one thing is clear. As we sit here and talk about or speculate about what time is or how it enters the visual arts, we have to remember that it's a very subtle area. Extremely subtle. Constantly in our text, we are being told that it is completely incomprehensible. We should, in our own tradition, we do in our own tradition, differentiate between Kal and Samay. Kal is infinite. Kal is incomprehensible. Samay is limited. This is a good samay, this is samay for this and so on. We understand that. But Kala has dimensions which the human mind seems to be incapable of comprehending. What are the names we have for our greatest of our gods? Let's say, take Shiva. How is Shiva referred to? Kala, Mahakala, Kalari, Kalabhaksha. He's the eater of time. He's the enemy of time. So is Shiva. What is it that we are talking about? Talking about the incomprehensibility of it all. There is a famous line in Kalidas and who says, Nasanti yathartha vidaha pinakinaha. There are no people, no one understands the truth about Pinakina. Pinak being the bow that Shiva wears, holds. So similarly, in the context of Shiva, in the context of time, we can say clearly, Nasanti yathartha vidaha kala. There's no one here, absolutely no one, who understands what it is all about.
Time makes us realize that we can be Brahma, the creator. We can create things and cling to it. Or we can be Shiva. Let it go like an ascetic. Let it wither away with time. Don't try to conserve it. Let it pass and move on. Or like Vishnu, realize the value of preserving things, of keeping it alive, so that the past can inform the present and shape the future. For when we see objects of the past, we realize how different they were from us and how similar they are from us. We find cultural differences and emotional resonances. And that's what art does to us. Connects us with our forefathers, with our ancestors, with time and space that has gone, and makes us a better person today.
As you entered this auditorium, you must have noticed my name. But this auditorium is not mine, it's ours. Many minds worked to create this museum. But this museum does not belong to them. It belongs to all of us. The art that you see displayed on the walls of this museum is for all of us and all of you to consume and appreciate, no matter where you come from, no matter what interests you. This is what museums are all about. Museums are the guardians of our past, our present, and our future. And yet, very often, we don't make museums a part of our everyday lives. But let me reach out to you and tell you how important it is to embrace the concept of museums and to make sure that we make it a part of our lives. Whether you visit museums digitally or in the real world, I really believe that we must make museums a very special space for our minds to explore.
Art is freedom, freedom of thought, ideas, and expressions. But how do we know which art is good or bad or ugly? When we look at a painting, listen to a song, or watch a performance or a film, we form an opinion about it, often instantly. We judge it, criticize it, or shower it with praise. We think we are being objective, but in fact, we're only reflecting our own experiences and exposures, our biases and social conditioning that shape our individual responses. The works that survive and become great masterpieces are the ones that have stood the test of time. That is why, universally, through decades and centuries, the likes of Michelangelo or Nandalal Bose are considered great painters, Shakespeare or Tolstoy great writers, Bach or Beethoven great composers, and Kabir or Tagore great poets. There must have been many other artists, composers, writers in their times who we haven't even heard of, because history chose to not chronicle them. Time is the ultimate judge, and only its verdict counts. True art will always transcend time and space, but it needs an engaged audience for it to thrive. There is a sense of mutualism. We have inherited great art because there was a discerning audience or a passionate patron who kept it alive for us. The respect and love we show to art is what makes it timeless, so it can travel to the next generation. And this is exactly what MAP is doing. It is an inclusive space that celebrates the arts, where a range of creative practices are recognized, valued, and shared. Let us hope that MAP's mission to inspire people to interact with art in ways that encourage humanity, empathy, and a deeper understanding of the world we live in will also stand the test of time.
तो क्या ये मुमकिन है? सारी सदियां कतार अंदर कतार अपनी जगह खड़ी हों, ये वक्त साकित हो और हम ही गुजर रहे हों.
So can it be that all our centuries, row upon row, are standing still? Can it be that time is fixed and we alone are in motion?
वक्त.
Time.
ये वक्त क्या है? ये क्या है आखिर कि जो मुसलसल गुजर रहा है? ये जब न गुजरा था तब कहाँ था? कहीं तो होगा. गुजर गया है तो अब कहाँ है? कहीं तो होगा. कहाँ से आया, किधर गया है? ये कब से कब तक का सिलसिला है? ये वक्त क्या है?
What is time? What is this thing that goes on without pause? If it did not pass, then where could it have been? It must have been somewhere. It has passed. So where is it now? It must be somewhere. Where did it come from? Where did it go? Where did the process begin? Where will it end? What is time?
ये वाक़े, हादसे, तसादुम, हर एक गम और हर एक मसरत, हर एक कज़ियत, हर एक लज्जत, हर एक तबस्सुम, हर एक आंसू, हर एक नगमा, हर एक खुशबू, वो ज़ख्म का दर्द हो कि वो लम्स का हो जादू, खुद अपनी आवाज़ हो कि माहौल की सदाएं, ये जहन में बनती और बिगड़ती हुई फ़ज़ाएं, वो फिक्र में आए ज़लज़ले हों कि दिल की हलचल, तमाम एहसास, सारे जज्बे, ये जैसे पत्ते हैं, बहते पानी की सतह पर जैसे तैरते हैं. अभी यहाँ हैं, अभी वहाँ हैं और अब है उछल. दिखाई देता नहीं है लेकिन ये कुछ तो है जो कि बह रहा है. ये कैसा दरिया है, किन पहाड़ों से आ रहा है, ये किस समंदर को जा रहा है. ये वक्त क्या है?
These events, incidents, conflicts, every grief, every joy, every torment, every pleasure, every smile, every tear, every song, every scent. It may be the pain of a wound or the magic of a tender touch. One lonely voice or the sounds around. Successes and failures assailing the mind. The upheavals of care, the tumult of the heart. All feelings, all emotions are like leaves floating on the surface of the water as they swim along. Now here, now there, and now they disappear. Though unseen, there must be something flowing along. What is this river? Which hills has it come from? Which sea is it going to? What is time?
कभी कभी मैं ये सोचता हूँ कि चलती गाड़ी से पेड़ देखो तो ऐसा लगता है दूसरी समझ जा रहे हैं। कभी कभी मैं ये सोचता हूँ कि चलती गाड़ी से पेड़ देखो तो ऐसा लगता है दूसरी समझ जा रहे हैं, मगर हकीकत में पेड़ अपनी जगह खड़े हैं। तो क्या ये मुमकिन है सारी सदियां कतार अंदर कतार अपनी जगह खड़ी हों, ये वक्त साकित हो और हम ही गुजर रहे हों, इस एक लम्हे में सारे लम्हे तमाम सदियां छुपी हुई हों, न कोई आइंदा न गुज़िश्ता। जो हो चुका है वो हो रहा है, जो होने वाला है हो रहा है। मैं सोचता हूँ कि क्या ये मुमकिन है सच हो के सफ़र में हम हैं, गुजरते हम हैं, जिसे समझते हम गुजरता है वो थमा है, गुजरता है या थमा हुआ है, इकाई है या बटा हुआ है मुंजमद या पिघल रहा है। किसे खबर है, किसे पता है ये वक्त क्या है।
Sometimes I think when I see trees from a moving train, it seems they're going in the opposite way. But in reality, the trees are standing still. So can it be that all our centuries, row upon row, are standing still? Can it be that time is fixed and we alone are in motion? Can it be that in this one moment, all moments, all centuries are hidden? No future, no past. What has gone by is happening now. What will come about is happening now. I wonder, is it possible that the truth is that we are in motion? We pass by? And what we imagine is moving is really motionless. Moving, not moving. Whole or divided? Is it frozen? Or is it melting? Who knows? Who can guess? What is time?
I've always been struck how there are certain moments in Indian history when everything seems to happen, these key moments, when it's as if sort of civilization moves up a notch. It's fascinating researching this to see how much happens at a single moment. In particular, the year 664 seems to be an incredibly crucial moment in time for Indian civilization, when everything is happening simultaneously. In 664, for example, it's the year that the Chinese empress, the only empress in Chinese history to rule on her own right, the Empress Wu, moves China towards being a Buddhist state. She does this because as a woman, the Confucians will not allow her full power, but Buddhism does allow a female ruler and has far greater equality and far more empowerment for women. And this is a moment that Buddhism is moving out of India. Then the religion spreads down the Silk Road to Chang'an, modern Xi'an, the center of Chinese civilization. And it's there in 664 that the Empress Wu performs ceremonies to make this Indian religion the religion of the Chinese court.
在今天，宫廷上下开始奉行佛教。
And at the same time, bizarrely, the poet Dandan is sitting in the Pallava court in Kanchipuram, and he goes out to visit Mahabalipuram, where the Arjuna's penance, the great sequence of images on that hill, which originally looked onto the harbour, the Pallava's great harbour, was being sculpted. And he describes in his work visiting the shore temples and admiring the sculptures and their sophistication. And in due course, these ships from Pallava, Mahabalipuram, will sail to the lands of gold, Savanabhumi, to Southeast Asia. And they'll bring with them Pallava sculpture, ideas of Indic civilization, the epics, the Ramayana, the Mahabharata, and turn Southeast Asia into an Indic civilization, where previously 100 languages were spoken of a whole variety of different language schools. Sanskrit becomes across the whole region, all the way from Kandahar down to Java, the language of government. And this again is this extraordinary moment, 664. At the same time, in Central Asia, in Balkh, in the same year, 664, the armies of Islam have reached Afghanistan. And at the same moment, in the sense that this is the peak of Indic influence, you have Islam reaching the region for the first time. Now, this may seem something which will threaten Indic civilization in many ways, but it's also an opportunity for Indic civilization to spread westwards. And what happens is you have the Barmakids, who are the hereditary abbots of Balkh. They convert to Islam. They are literate in Sanskrit. One of the Barmakids was educated in Srinagar in Kashmir. And the elder son is taken as a hostage to the center of the Arab Umayyad world in Rasafa, now in the back end of Syria. And there he makes friends with the future Abbasid Caliph. And the Barmakids and the Abbasids become allies. 4 generations of Barmakids become the viziers of the Arab Empire, and they bring to the Arab world Indian mathematics, the work of Brahmagupta, the extraordinary Indian advances in science and mathematics, which is why what the West knows as Arabic numbers are, of course, originally Indian numbers. So here you have just one example of how a single moment in time can affect art and civilization and culture.
Through the course of the evening, we have been enthralled by artists and their interpretation of time. We have been told in more ways than one that whilst time is elusive and incomprehensible, art somehow rises beyond and even transcends it. It is in the heart of this thought that MAP finds its true place. As you have walked with us and have had a glimpse of a space in the making, home to precious art, doorways to all kinds of thought, and windows to questions and answers, we hope that these reflections are shared not by only a few of us, but by anyone and everyone. We are convinced that anyone who stands in these corridors can not only be transported back and forth in time, but can also find themselves within the voices of the artists who have carefully cultivated our collective identities as a people for 1,000 years and more. I want to thank everyone who has helped us to create so many possibilities, which have all led to this day, and I hope to see many more of us come together to support this space and all that it represents. Ours is the course of the long-distance runner, an institution that embraces the arts, but above all, one that endures and sustains. I'm delighted that what started as a lonely journey has transformed into a collective effort, and I hope you will remain with us through all the twists and turns that lie ahead. I could go on about all the exciting things in store at MAP, but that is for another time. Instead, I leave you with some last reflections from yet another beautiful voice. In this song, composed specially for MAP by Kavita Seth, where she sings about moments in time, lamhe.
उम्र के बेशुमार लम्हे हैं जो किसी और लम्हे जैसा हो। आस के लम्हे, यास के लम्हे, तशनगी और प्यास के लम्हे, दर्द के लम्हे, प्यार के लम्हे और तवील इंतजार के लम्हे। और इन बेशुमार लम्हों में चंद ऐसे महकते लम्हे हैं जो मेरी तीरगी में जुगनू हैं। जिंदगी की तवील राहों में जो मेरे साथ साथ चलते हैं, दिल की गहराइयों में रहते हैं, मेरे ख्वाबों के साथ पलते हैं। उम्र के बेशुमार लम्हे हैं और इन बेशुमार लम्हों में कोई भी एक ऐसा लम्हा नहीं जो किसी और लम्हे जैसा हो। आस के लम्हे, यास के लम्हे, तशनगी और प्यास के लम्हे, दर्द के लम्हे, प्यार के लम्हे और तवील इंतजार के लम्हे। और इन बेशुमार लम्हों में चंद ऐसे महकते लम्हे हैं जो मेरी तीरगी में जुगनू हैं। जिंदगी की तवील राहों में जो मेरे साथ साथ चल